Hello, Miss Glamour. Hello, everyone on YouTube. It's raining. Yay! Hello, Chris Hares. I think I got that. Hello, everyone on Facebook. Hi, 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 hi. Hi, guys, I'm Daddy Freeze, convener of the Free the Sheeple movement and leader of the Free Nation in Christ. I greet you and I bring glad tidings. I have two topics that I'm going to address. One is the news that Pastor TB Joshua's YouTube and Facebook pages face some challenges because of comments he made. But first of all, let me address our parents' marriages and why they succeeded where ours are failing. Our parents' marriages succeeded where ours are failing. Who agrees that we have more divorces these days than our parents had back in the day? Who agrees? Yeah, I can see some thumbs up here and there. So, let's discuss this in earnest. Okay? First of all, let's start with a prayer. Heavenly Father, I come before you. I ask for your wisdom. I ask for your understanding. I ask for your guidance. I ask for your protection. I ask for your forgiveness. I ask for you to lead us. And I ask for mercy and wisdom. In Yahushua's name I pray. So, let us start by really addressing the main issue. Did our parents' marriages really last longer, or they were under the impression that their marriages were lasting longer? I was having a conversation with one of my uncles who I respect very much, and he was like, the values of those days are different from now. These days, people don't work at marriage. Those days they worked at marriage. I said, Uncle, can I correct you, sir? I said, these days, people don't take the nonsense they took 50 years ago. Somebody needs to address this. I'm a preacher. I run a church. I counsel married couples. Now, I'm not in any way saying marriage is not good. I'm not saying marriage is not a great thing. I'm not saying I've not met couples who are in love and have a great marriage. But what I'm saying is, 80% of the marriages I have counseled are people going through issues to the point where I have suggested to them and asked, do you guys really need to be married? I'll give you examples. Here's a story my uncle shared with me. He said where there was a woman who one day bought some nice clothes, and her husband came home and saw the clothes. He was like, what are you wearing? He said, somebody brought clothes to my office and I bought them. He was going to say, how dare you buy clothes without telling me? Bole me law, meaning bring the clothes, bring the clothes, bring the clothes. The woman gave him the clothes. He told her to go inside and change. By the time she came back, he was already sprinkling kerosene on the clothes and he was going to light those clothes on fire. Now let me ask you a question. In those days, if that woman goes to her parents, what do you think the judgment of the parents will be? Why will you to buy cloth and you will not tell your husband? That is the judgment. I want to ask you, was that woman in a marriage where you save up money to buy clothes? I'm not talking about land. I'm not saying that you brought a range home one day. Say you drive big motor like range, you food the whole compound food throw away. You wear cloth for your body, the commot time, light and fire. And that woman was in a marriage. Let me share another story. Oh, the woman is still married to today. Now a family member. Let me share another story with you. I personally know someone whose grandmother was the one that brought their mother and married her to their father. After a while, the grandmother and his mother now had issues. Now the grandmama bring the mama oh. Nobody say the husband go toast wife, the pikin go toast. Now grandma bring the wife who say now the best wife be this. 4 or 5 years later, they started having issues. Grandma went to bring a second wife. Up till today, the man is still married to both his wives. I want to ask you, which girl are you going to try that with in 2021? Let me tell you, during our parents' time, a man cheats on you and you go and meet your parents, the first question they will ask you is, did he bring the woman home? If you say no, that means he respects you. So what's now your problem? As long as he does not bring the woman to your matrimonial home, you have no right to complain. Not me so that they judge the matter those days. Can you take that inside marriage? You see, our parents were not married. They were burdened. They did things. And I'm going to keep giving you examples. And every one of these examples are people I know personally. These are not people that they wrote to me about. I'll give you another example. Man marries 12-year-old. It was normal to marry around those ages, those days. By 14, she has her first child. 11 children later, somebody seeing that, make this woman no good, bam. She started having children very young. She's already had 11. They decided to take her to do family planning. It's here, take. They decided to take her to do family planning. They brought her back home after the family planning. The husband had packed her load outside and said, unless they take her back and reverse that family planning, she should marry whoever took her for the family planning. I'm not lying though. The woman had to reverse the family planning and throw away all the medicine that they gave her to plan family. She now went on to have 4 more children. They are still married as I speak to you today. One day, now marriage be that. Those were the nonsense that was lasting during our parents' time. You bring home your wife. You marry your wife. She has 6 girls. Your mother goes to the village one day and brings a new wife and tells your wife that she is barren. She gets 6 pikin, but they will still tell her say she didn't barren. Why? Because she never born son. Then and there, they go bring the new wife, we go bear your sons. I want to ask you, which woman in 2021 go collect that senselessness from any man? Somebody is saying when the negative stories are told, it appears to be more than the positive ones. I tell you the truth. The positive marriages that today people can tolerate, it no past 15%. Quote me anywhere. What human beings can tolerate? Do you think you can take 10% of what your mother took in marriage and not pack your bag and leave? I'm asking you, do you think you can take it? Those days, if a woman's husband were to die in many parts of Nigeria, the woman must drink the water they used to wash in dead body. Those were the things people went through to ensure they had marriages. And 90% of the time, it was the women who were on the enduring part. That is why they are no longer working today, because our women have decided that they are not going to endure nonsense again. How can you tell a woman who has 5 daughters that don't... Do you know how many people I know died trying to get a son? They born 4 daughters, no son. The husband married second wife. The first wife still they born daughters, they go. Now take a statistic and be honest with yourself. Look at your parents' marriage and ask yourself, can you take the place of your mother in your father's home? Think about what she went through with your father. Think about what she went through with his relatives. Can you take it? If the answer is yes, then your marriage will last according to the standards they had. But let me warn you, many reasonable human beings will not go through the slavery many reasonable human beings will not go through the slavery that our mothers went through. They did not enjoy marriage. They endured, not marriage, nonsense. Do you know how many women were infected with HPV? That is the human papilloma virus that causes genital warts, cervical cancer, and many forms of cancer. Yet these women, instead of filing for divorce, had to stay and endure. Is that a marriage? Now, let's go to our men. Many of you saw the lives your fathers lived and saw how they enjoyed. Let me break your heart. If you are looking for a woman that is going to be like your mother, that is going to make you enjoy what your father did, the enjoyment there is doing all sorts of nonsense and getting away with it, let me warn you, you are not going to find this generation unless you go to the village. And when you marry a village woman, let me also warn you, when you marry a village woman, you must keep her in the village, because the moment you bring her to the city and her eyes see how her mates are behaving in the city, she will start to behave like them, and once again you will be back at square zero. I don't know who it is that I'm speaking to today, but if you want your marriage to last, you have to learn how to be considerate. You have to learn how to remove misogynistic thoughts from your head. You have to learn that your wife is not something you bought because they told you paid dowry and you brought goats. Your wife is not something you purchased. Your wife is your partner. When they say a man is the head of the home, does not mean the wife is subordinate to the man. He is the figurehead of the house. Most decisions, if not all decisions, should be jointly taken by both the man and his wife if they're going to have peace. Women, you also have to learn. Ain't nobody gonna buy you car, buy you house, buy you clothes, take care of your mother, take care of your family, build your people houses like they did those days. You want the freedom women today are enjoying, you will learn how to work. Your husband is not your ATM card. No 2021 man is going to be any woman's ATM card. If you want your marriage to work, prepare yourself to work as a woman. Prepare yourself to cut your cloth according to not just your size, but your material. Your husband is not going to work for the rest of his life so he can provide your Owambe luxuries. No, you want those luxuries, learn how to earn them. Look at every woman beside you and tell them, woman, learn how to earn. Raising children are no longer the sole responsibility of a man. They are both your responsibilities. Women, learn to contribute to the house. I don't know who it is that I'm speaking to today. But if you want your marriages to work, first of all, you cannot superimpose the Bible in this century. Most of the Bible, the entire Old Testament, was written at a time when certain laws of a theocratic system were in place. Hebrews chapter 7 and verse 18 clearly tells us, if you read the New Living Translation, that for the law to be amended, the priesthood needed to be changed. So the new covenant is done away with all the old covenant laws when women could be bought and sold and women were told to keep quiet. You can't tell Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala to keep quiet. You can't tell Queen Elizabeth to keep quiet. Someone was telling me today that Prince Philip was the head. I said, which head? The Queen was his head, spiritually, politically, and physically. Spiritually, she's the head of the Church of England. The Bishop of Canterbury is junior to her in hierarchy in their spiritual realm. Politically, she is the queen. He is a prince. He's not a king. He is a prince. He is not her head. She is his head, or she was his head. And politically, you know what I'm talking about. Now I want to ask you, did your father or my father, who were allegedly the heads of their homes, did they enjoy 5% of what Prince Philip enjoyed, walking 2 steps behind? They no born Prince Philip well, make you walk with Queen. You don't walk with the crown, you walk behind the crown. As he was walking behind her, he was enjoying more in every way or form than your father and my father, because he dealt with his ego problems. He dealt with his daddy issues. Your fathers, my fathers, and many of us have failed to deal with our daddy issues. And until our men are able to deal with these issues, we will continue settling for less. Think about it. Many of you are afraid to push your women forward because of your daddy issues. Not knowing that Prince Philip became Prince Philip because he was married to Queen Elizabeth. It's not easy to be a prince, especially a prince of such high standing globally. Many of your own Queen Elizabeth, you don't trample them for ground. You, we're supposed to be number 2 in a whole city. You don't turn to number 1 inside one small house. Prince Philip, according to the hierarchy of royalty, was number 2 in England. If he had refused or stopped his wife from being the queen, he would have been number 1 of his house. His house would have consisted of him, his wife, their 2 or 3 children, and whatever grandchildren they had. He at most would have been head of maybe 20 people. Right now, he's assistant head to 65 million people. Many of you are not achieving your headship because you refuse to uplift your woman. Some of you, your women don't even need to be your heads. All they need to be is your mate. You will refuse. And because the 2 of you cannot be elevated together, what happens is the 2 of you are repressed together. So I hope you understood what I have been saying all day. Someone said Prince Philip was also born in a royal family, sir. Was he not running riot? Did they not smuggle him into the UK in a crate of tomato? Royal family of countries that have disbanded their it's like telling me somebody was born into the royal family in Russia. Do they still have royal family in Russia again? If not for Queen Elizabeth, his royal family, he just had blue blood, that's all. Royal family of where? Do they still have monarchy where we had royal family from? Where his parents not on the run? Don't be confusing yourself. Oh. Somebody say, ladies, they happy. I want them to be happy. You want a good marriage? Make your woman happy. The reason why our marriages are failing are because if we marry, if love no deal, you cannot enjoy marriage in 2021. You cannot enjoy it. I tried being in a loveless marriage once. It didn't work. It didn't work. I tried to stay married because of children. I tried to stay married because of what people would think. Really, at the end of the day, I suffered. And I'm sure she suffered too. I will never advise anyone to go into a marriage that is not love. There is no love. You go sleep with gardener. You go do nonsense inside the marriage because your heart no dey there. So that's as far as I'm going to go with this. Son of Iyuku said, loveless marriage, a death trap. Na babanlad yala ya death trap. Oteri si oteni. Toba terisi wate. So, if you know you have a good marriage, a marriage that is built on the buttresses of love, respect, togetherness, sacrifice, sharing, then you're on to a good thing. But if your story is otherwise, my condolence. Your marriage is dead. Bury it decently. Don't put another person's child through the nonsense your father put your mother through. Set them free. If you don't love them, let them go. This time will never work. I'm going to, when I close this video, I'm going to come back in 5 minutes and I'm going to address TB Joshua's YouTube channel. And one of the main problems is what operated then. You cannot, what did they say Baba did? They say Baba casted and bound gay people, saying was praying for them. The petition in channel, they took his channel down. What you see these days, there are things that you cannot say. You've got to respect people's choices, especially with regards to their sexual orientation. Even if I don't agree with it, I've got to respect it. So you can't bring issues when you dare not come out as being. Thank you, Simply Vic. Are the key. That's Simply Vic. Thank you. So let me go, guys, and I'll be back in a few minutes, 5 minutes exactly. We'll be discussing Prophet TB Joshua's YouTube challenges. Please come back. We're going to have a lot of fun. I love you all.